What is the preterite tense? The preterite tense describes an action that started and finished at a specific time in the past, longer than 24 hours ago. Examples in English are: I watched a film last week, I ate a burger yesterday, I ran a marathon 2 hours ago, I went to a party last night, and I was quite ill after doing all that. Today we're going to look at Spanish preterite tense verbs, with a focus specifically on stem changing and radical changing verbs. This will assume a level of prior knowledge of how preterite tense verbs work, so we won't cover a lot of the basics. There is a lesson on the preterite tense which you can watch before doing this, although this is quite advanced. Our aim is to learn how to recognise stem changing and radical changing preterite tense verbs in Spanish, and to learn how to form stem changing and radical changing preterite tense verbs in Spanish. Let's start off with an example. Mentir is the verb to lie, and here the E changes to an I. The changes only occur in the third person singular, the he, she or you formal person, and also in the third person plural, the they or you formal. So in Spanish they will be the él, ella, usted, and in the plural ellos, ellas, ustedes. So let's have a look at mentir, to lie. Mentí, I lied. Mentiste, you, singular, lied. Mintió, he, she or you formal, lied. Mentimos, we lied. Mentisteis, you plural, lied. Mintieron, they lied, or you plural, formal, lied. Now, what I'd like to do is copy down this verb and then conjugate one or two of the other verbs on the left hand side following this same pattern. Pause the recording and do that now. Now let's look at vestirse, to get dressed. This is a reflexive verb. Remember, the presence of the reflexive pronoun, the se, means oneself, so to get oneself dressed. Now this is again one that changes from an E to an I, so it works in the same way as mentir, but this time it's reflexive. Me vestí, te vestiste, se vistió, nos vestimos, os vestisteis, se vistieron. Notice how the reflexive pronouns me, te, se, nos, os, se do not change. It is only that second letter in the third person singular and third person plural that actually change. The reflexive pronouns remain the same for all tenses, and these do not change except when you're talking about a different person. Okay, conjugate the verb sentirse following this same pattern. And remember, the changes only occur in the third person singular and the third person plural. Pause the recording and do this now. Finally, morir, to die. Here the change is O to you. So we'll have a look at morir. Morí, I died. Moriste, you died. Murió, he, she or you formal died. Morimos, we died. Moristeis, you plural died. Murieron, they died, or you formal plural died. Again, notice the change in the third person singular and the third person plural only, but the O changes to a U this time. All the endings are exactly the same, it's just that one letter that changes. Now conjugate the verb dormir following the same pattern once you'd copied down morir. Pause the recording and do this now. Okay, now we're going to try a challenge. We're going to convert these sentences from the first person singular, the yo form, into the third person singular and plural, él, ella, usted, and then ellos, ellas, ustedes. Here's an example. Sentí que el viaje era muy largo. I felt that the journey was very long. Notice how it's currently in the first person singular. Therefore, to change it to the third person singular, it would change to sintió que el viaje era muy largo. Notice how it changes to sintió que el viaje era muy largo. So the E changes to an I, but the IR endings for the preterite tense are still the same. Sintieron que el viaje era muy largo. So again, in the third person plural, the they form, the E changes to an I, but with the they ending attached. Okay, see if you can convert these sentences from the first person singular into the third person singular and plural. And remember, pause the recording first, complete the activity, and then self-mark your work so that you can correct any mistakes that you make. Por ejemplo, número 1. Dormí en una habitación doble. I slept in a double bedroom. This would change to durmió, durmieron. Pause the recording now and try the others. Número 2. Me sentí como en casa. I felt at home. Se sintió, se sintieron como en casa. Número 3. Me vestí antes de salir. I got dressed before going out. Changes to se vistió, se vistieron antes de salir. He or she got dressed or they got dressed before going out. Número 4. Corregí el trabajo. I corrected the work. Changes to corrigió o corrigieron el trabajo. Número 5. Preferí la primera película. I preferred the first film. Changes to prefirió, prefirieron la primera película. Notice how the E changes to an I in the third person singular and plural. How did you get on? Make sure you correct your mistakes if you have made any before we move on to the last section. Now translate these verbs into Spanish. They're all ones that you will have seen earlier in the lesson, but see if you can do them without looking back. This will make it really challenging for you, but if you get them right, all the more enjoyment for doing so. Por ejemplo, número 1. He chose. Eligió. Okay, pause the recording now and see how you get on before restarting and self-marking your work. It's not the end of the world if you do look up the infinitive in a dictionary, as long as you don't apply your knowledge to the verb to try and work out how to form it in the preterite tense. Pause the recording now. Número 2. They got dressed. Se vistieron. Número 3. She preferred. Prefirió. Número 4. They repeated. Repitieron. Número 5. He slept. Durmió. Número 6. He felt. Se sintió. Número 7. They warned. Advirtieron. Número 8. She died. Murió. How did you get on? Remember to check back and mark your work if you have made any mistakes. Today we looked at Spanish preterite tense verbs, but with a focus on stem changing and radical changing verbs. Our aims were to learn how to recognise stem changing and radical changing preterite tense verbs in Spanish. And we're also looking to learn how to form stem changing and radical changing preterite tense verbs in Spanish. Muy bien. Adiós.